discussing how PriZma PMS could assist you in managing the performance of your employees. The PriZma PMS could be accessed through pms.prisma.tech. I'll first run you through the process and then we will be discussing the reports and dashboards that are available on the system. We have two modules available with us. One is the PMS and another is the 360-degree feedback. Combinedly, it will assist us in calculating the appraisals of the employees at the end of the financial year. In PMS, we would be evaluating the hard skills that are quantitative in nature, and in 360-degree, we would be evaluating the qualitative skills of the employees. We would be assigning weightages to calculate the final appraisal score. It could be 60-40, 70-30 or whatever we decide during the setup. Next, we have the review periods for 360-degree feedback and the PMS. The review periods could be on a monthly, quarterly, half-yearly or annually basis, or it could be for the customized dates as well. If you want to start it from 1st of January to 15th of February, then that is possible. If you want to do it on a weekly basis like 4 weeks, then 13 review periods would be created and the review process would begin. Now we have two loops available for doing the performance review. One is the manager to employee loop and another is the employee to manager loop. In the first loop, manager to employee loop, manager would be setting the KRA KPIs of the employees and the employees would be in turn accepting the KPIs submitted by the manager. In the employee to manager loop, employee will set up his or her own KRA KPIs and it will go for approval to his manager. Now we would be adding the master repository of the employees. First, we would be adding the different departments that are in the organization. Next, we would be adding different grades that are in the organization. Next, third step would be adding the designations that are available in the organization. And finally, we would be adding the employee database. Employee database would have the basic details like the name of the employee, email ID, phone number, their joining date, their review start date, their state, city, their birth date, and lastly the managers, the reviewers, their department and their designation. These all databases could be uploaded via the Excel template that is already available in the platform. Now we would be assigning weightages to the different level of employees. Here we would be also be reviewing the company's performance and the department's performance. So not only the individual performance would be reviewed, but we would be assigning the KRA KPIs to the department and to the company as well. Now, based on the levels, we would be assigning different weightages. An executive's final score will have a maximum weightage on the individual performance, but there would be some weightage for the contribution that he has given to the department and to the company. So here we are saying that the L1 level employee's final score would be calculated based on 10% of the company's performance, 20% on the department's performance and 70% on the individual's performance. Whereas if a L4 level employee is from the management team or is from the CXO level, his or her main focus would be how the company is performing, and at a smaller weightage would be at the departmental and at the individual level. These weightages could be customized, it could be 0, 0, 100 or it could be any weightage as long as the total is coming to the 100. Now, as discussed, we would be assigning the KRA KPIs to the company and to the department as well. So here is the repository of all the KRAs that are available in the organization. We would be assigning KRAs at the individual level, at the departmental level, to the different departments that are in the organization and to the company as well. In the same way, we would be assigning different KPIs to the individual, to the departments that are in the organization and to the organization as well. Now, whenever we are assigning the KPIs, we would be providing weightages to the individual KPIs. When we are assigning multiple KPIs to an individual, we have to make sure that the sum total of all the weightages is coming out to be 100 to properly calculate the final PMS score. I'll show you an example of how the rating takes place. Let's say we would be departmental rating for sales department for the month of December 23. Here, the name of the departmental head is present and the previous scores that have been generated for different departments are visible to us. Now, here there are 4 different KRAs. Against 4 KRAs, we have different KPIs. Against an individual KRA, we can assign multiple KPIs as well, or we can do a one-to-one mapping as required. Now, we would be assigning different weightages. Here, the weightages for 4 different KPI is 100. Now, to objectively calculate the performance review, we would be assigning certain targets to each and every KPI. Here, let's say number of referrals generated per month. If I have generated, let's say 11 to 15 referrals for the month of December, my score would be 80%. Let's say I have generated 13 referrals. So, based on the range that has been provided, 80 score has been calculated automatically. The achievement into the weightage, 80 into 25%, my final score for the selected KPI is 20. Now, number of customers retained for more than 2 years. Let's say I was able to retain around 56 customers. So, based on the ranges or the targets that I have provided during the KPI assignment, my final score, that is 20, is calculated automatically. Clients converted, I was able to convert only 4 clients. And number of proposals submitted, I have submitted around 8 proposals for the current month. So my final score for the sales department for the month of December has been calculated, and I'll just submit the score. So for the month of December, sales department 70 score has been generated, and a new period, that is January 24, say for the sales department, has been automatically generated. This is the process to do the departmental rating and to do the company rating as well. The process is similar. We would be assigning different KPIs. Against the KPIs, we would be assigning certain weightages, and we would be assigning certain criteria or targets. Now for the criteria, we have different options available. If we want to do a direct percent achievement, then that is also possible. Let's say here the figure is 56%. So based on the percent that I have defined, I have mentioned the actual result, automatically final score would be calculated. Or else I can provide different ranges to calculate the final score. I can assign different criteria. In this manner, we would be actually be doing the performance review in an objective way. We aren't doing it in a subjective way where we are rating the employee on a scale of 1 to 10. We are assigning targets and we are calculating the performance review in an objective way. Now talking about 360-degree feedback. In 360-degree feedback, an employee would be rated or reviewed via his managers, via his peers, via his subordinates, and he would also do the self-rating. So, according to the levels, we can assign different set of weightages. Here, we would be having a repository of all the competencies that being reviewed in the organization. We can do the review on the soft skills, on different competencies, or if we want to generate a questionnaire kind of a thing or a feedback kind of a thing for each and every employee, then that is also possible. We can just mention the questions, define what is expected from the reviewer, and we can mention it straight away in the competencies repository. Now, based on the grades, we would be assigning different competencies. A manager would be reviewed on different set of competency than the executive level employee. So different competencies for different levels of employees is also possible in the platform. Let me show you an example. So here we have said that the Faber account would be reviewing 3 employees as a manager. There would be certain employees that he has to rate as peers, and there would be certain employees that he has to rate as subordinate. Now let me show you an example of how Albert would be reviewed via his manager. So there are 4 skills that has been assigned to Albert, and as a manager I would be reviewing him on a scale of 0 to 10. I would be providing him with the feedback, and basis the scale of 1 to 10 and the weightages that has been assigned, my final score would be calculated. So as a manager to Albert, my final score is 7.25, and I'll just submit the score. As a manager, I have reviewed all the employees that are available in the organization. Now, the 360-degree feedback is completely anonymous to the employees. The employee won't know who has rated him and how much he has rated him. He will only have the access to the final score that has been given to him via his team members. So here the final score is visible to the employee, but who has rated him and how much the employee has rated him won't be known to the individual. Now, talking about the dashboards that are available in the platform. We have around 20 to 25 reports available in the platform. The reports are accessible through company, department, individual, and hierarchical performance. The company's performance shows the month on month performance of the company. If we want to compare the KPI wise performance, then that is also possible. We can even compare to different KPIs. If I want to know the performance of a single KPI, then that is also possible. Next, we have the target versus achievement graph. In the form of criteria, we are assigning certain targets to each and every KPI. So the blue axis shows us the target, purple area shows us the achievement against each of the KPI. Lastly, we have the company performance loss analysis. In this graph, we would be having the access to the loss that is incurred against each of the KPI. It shows that I have to focus around 39% more on in achieving the revenue generation target. Now talking about the departmental performance, the graph shows us the average of all the departments' performance for the selected period. I can compare department to department. I can compare all the departments. Let's say if I want to compare all the departments from April 23 to March 24, I want to see how they have been performing on a month on month basis. Then this graph will show us the month on month performance for all the departments that are in the organization. If I want to just compare 2 departments or 4 departments, then that is also possible. Next, we have the department performance loss analysis, the KPI wise performance for the individual departments, and the target versus achievement graph. Talking about the individual performance, if I want to see the individual performance on a month on month basis, if I want to compare the performance of the individual with respect to his or her department, if I want to compare the individual's performance with respect to the company and to the department together, and if I want to compare the individual's performance on KPI wise, so that is also totally possible from the graphs that are available here. Next, I also have the target versus achievement graph for the individual employees. Lastly, I have the hierarchical graph available in the platform. If I want to compare different hierarchies that are in the organization, I'm selecting all the departments and all the grades that are in the organization. And I would be doing the review for from April 2023 to March 2024. Here I can see the performance of human resource department for L1, L2 and L3 level. I can see how they have been performing, what is the comparison, and how we can improve this performance. All these reports, all this dashboard available on the platform, and it can be exported in the Excel format or in the PDF format as required. Make the right choice by opting to Prisma Digitex solutions for managing your teams flexibly, efficiently, and transparently. No more complications while annual performance reviews and appraisal procedures. Thank you.